Alright, today we're going to replace the brakes on this 1995 Oldsmobile Cutlass Ciera. It's not too bad of a job. We already got the wheel off. If you were to look at it, you'd see that it's down enough and the brake pad backing is hitting the rotor, so it's just making a loud grinding noise. Definitely ready for some new brake pads and rotors, so it's not too terrible of a job. We'll get started. For this job, we only need a couple basic tools, one of which is a 3/8 Allen key. You can use a regular Allen wrench, but it makes it a little tougher. These little bits on the ratchet make it a lot quicker. We're also going to need something to compress the piston. I've got these large C-clamp vice grips. They work great for the job. And you might need a hammer. So I got a little hammer and a big hammer. First thing you want to do is you just take the caliper off. On the back here, there's two bolts, one on the top, one on the bottom. That just holds this whole assembly on, and those are what this little Allen key is for. They just pop in. Once you've got those backed out, you don't even have to pull them all the way out. They just kind of stay in there. You just take your whole caliper and pull it right off the rotor. It comes right off just like so. You can see here there's absolutely nothing left of this brake pad. It's just pure thin metal. The brake pad, you know, is supposed to be right here, and there's nothing left. So you can see it was grinding on the rotor, causing all kinds of noise, which is it's pretty serious. If you go much further than this pad wears away completely, and then you lose all your braking. So next step, you got to get these pads off the caliper. These are held in with little clips. This front one you just push back and slide up, and it pops out. This back one just has a little clip like that and just sits inside that piston. So those are out of the way. You can set this. You don't want to let the caliper hang on the brake hose, so you can just kind of set it there to support its weight. And since we got new rotors, you just slide the old rotor off, and that's how it comes apart. For the new parts, we got these premium Monroe brake pads. They're really good quality. They've got a real nice silencing shim on them. They're top of the line brake pads. And we've also got some brand new rotors here. It's always a good idea to replace the rotors. You can cut them too, you know, but if they have any marring, or like this one, where it's got the grinding on the edge there, you definitely want to replace them. Okay, now that we have it all apart, there's a couple little things to note. These pads right here and right here are actually where the caliper sits, and these need to be clean and lubricated because the caliper is designed to slide back and forth on those pads. So what we'll do, we'll clean that. Just use a brake cleaner or some kind of solvent. Just get the brake dust off there. Get that all cleaned up. And these brake pads come with a little tube of brake lubricant, and that's all you need for these. All you do is you put a little dab right there and just spread it evenly over that mounting pad, or that surface there. Same with this top one. Alright, now that we have that done, we can go ahead and put our new rotor on. It just slides right over the lug nuts here. And one trick I like to do is take a lug nut and thread it on there just by hand. And that holds the rotor in place while you line up the caliper and everything. So now that that's in place, the next step, we got to get this piston back in, because this piston's all the way out from the brake pads being so thin. That's where our C-clamp vice grips come in handy. All you have to do with these is just loosen it up some. And just go a little bit at a time. Now we're ready for our new brake pads. Take the inner pad, which on this car, it does have, some cars, the inner and outer are the same. This one has a separate inner and a separate outer. Take the inner, just slide it in there. And the outer, you line up these holes right here, end up on these holes. So you line them up with where they're going to sit. And then just push the whole thing down. And if you're lucky, it'll line up the first time and it'll be flush, like so. If this is crooked at all, you want to try again until they fall into the holes, because that's important that those sit in that hole. So now we've got our new brake pads in. Push these flush if they're not, because that'll save a little headache. Now all we have to do is slide the caliper back in place, and then all we have to do is tighten up these Allen head screws that we took out, and then we're done. And that is it. And just repeat the same process with the other side. Put the wheels on. One important thing to always remember, before you try to drive it, after you're done with the brakes, make sure you pump up the brake pedal, because these pistons need to push back out a little bit, and if you try to drive, before you do that, you're not going to have a brake pedal. So that's a very, very, very critical step. But other than that, we are done. Thank you.